Welcome to today's New England HIMSS webinar presented by premier sponsor Healthcare Triangle, Cloud Computing in Healthcare, Challenges and Opportunities, presented by Anand Kumar, Senior Vice President, Head of Cloud Solutions. Anand has over 17 years of international business leadership experience in creating highly effective sales teams and leading strategic sales efforts with large global enterprises. As a strategist, he uses his skills to help drive innovation and transformation that ensures clients maximization and value that cloud brings to the organizations in a secure, compliant, and optimized way. His background in digital transformation, IT, security, governance and compliance, and risk management, combined with his deep domain expertise, uniquely positions him as a trusted advisor, assisting clients through their entire enterprise cloud business transformation. All lines are muted today upon entry. Please send all your questions to the Q&A feature, and please join me in welcoming Anand today. Anand, are you there?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Anand Kumar, and I'll see how I can move this slide. Okay. As introduced, my name is Anand Kumar, and I'm Senior Vice President and Head of Cloud Solutions at Healthcare Triangle. At Healthcare Triangle, we are one of the very few companies which is born in the cloud. And we have helped enterprise customers in highly regulated industries, whether it is pharma, life sciences, healthcare, affect cloud transformation and enterprise IT transformation for the cloud. And obviously, because it is highly regulated, security, compliance, and governance is key. And we will talk more about it as we move forward. So the agenda for today is that we are going to talk about the value of the cloud in healthcare and how cloud is truly affecting, transformation for healthcare organizations. What are the top goals for driving cloud adoption in healthcare? How does a cloud journey in healthcare essentially looks like? Some of the challenges, challenges of cloud transformation specifically in healthcare. And we will also talk about the shared responsibility model for the cloud, and we will talk about the importance of having a secured and compliant cloud foundation to truly affect the transformation, if you will. And we will also touch upon, some of the workload migrations that we see happening in the healthcare vertical. So with that, let me get started. So when we talk about the value of the cloud in healthcare, it is very transformative, right? The cloud computing, if you will, has transformed many industries, and the healthcare industry is no exception. If you look at it from a high level, there are a lot of similarities between cloud transformation era, era of today, and the industrial revolution. Both are extremely transformative periods that have had a significant impact on the way society operates. And, it has also essentially, it has a significant technological advancements that have enabled new ways of doing things. And also, it has significant economic implications, including changes to the way businesses operate. And, also cloud transformation, if you will, is really fueling or enabling Web 3.0 era, and we'll talk more about it. So nearly all organizations across industry verticals, as you know, are making digital investments and exploring digital strategies. and implementing cloud first strategy. So now we have, from our experience, what we are seeing is that we have truly crossed the chasm of why cloud, right? Now it is all about how cloud. Question that needs to be asked is your organization transforming or falling behind? So we all know that there are huge advantages of cloud in healthcare, and as in this slide, you will see, some of those advantages are, you getting an on-demand access to a wide range of tools and services, which can be useful to provide better patient care. Having improved data management for real-time informed decision making about patient care, which leads to better outcomes. The cloud, obviously also provides an opportunity for healthcare providers to gain real-time access on patient data, no matter where they are. It also enables better collaboration internally and externally. Sometimes it can help eliminate some of the challenges like collaboration among healthcare providers to make it easier to provide high quality patient care. Obviously it has the potential to provide enhanced patient engagement, as powerful data analytics. It is right now solving some of the challenges of data interoperability. Also it is enabling in end-to-end data integration across any data format. And the most critical piece is that it is able to provide healthcare organization with enhanced security in addition to streamlining operations and also affecting significant cost reductions, right? Some of the other opportunities, if we think about it, is obviously providing scalability and flexibility, the ability to scale operations up or down as needed, without the need for significant capital investment, the ability to easily integrate with existing systems, providing a very flexible and scalable infrastructure. Reducing the cost of IT infrastructure, as you no longer need to invest in expensive hardwares, and obviously the advantages of having pay-per-use model, which is also helping save costs for the organization. But most importantly, uh, how cloud is truly transforming is that it is essentially giving you as an organization an opportunity and the ability to modernize by taking a strategic approach to infrastructure modernization, data modernization, and application modernization, resulting in extremely improved collaboration and access, right? But when we talk about uh, when we talk about opportunities, obviously, as any other new technologies, there are challenges as well. And when we talk about healthcare, the first challenge that comes to our mind is security and privacy. Healthcare data is highly sensitive. Protecting it from unauthorized access is key. It's very, very vulnerable to security breaches, and obviously, in today's day and world, ransomware and cyber attacks is of utmost importance. It can be very, very business prohibitive, right? So that is one of the key challenges. And if you deep dive a little, then obviously moving sensitive data to the cloud creates a potential risk of data breaches, making security and privacy top concern. And as we know, in healthcare, regulatory compliance is critical. The healthcare industry is highly regulated and has strict rules and regulations regarding the storage, access, and sharing of patient data. And last but not least, what comes to our mind is the entire challenges around proprietary applications. The entire challenges around systems interoperability. And what that means is ensuring all system work together is a challenge, right? So, so if you look at the cloud journey for the healthcare that we are showing in this slide, obviously everything starts from building a secured and compliant cloud foundation, so that you can start using that platform for different use cases, whether it is uh, application migration, whether it is data analytics, whether it is collaboration use cases, whether it is for backup, whether it is for disaster recovery, or whether it is to run any patient care applications or your business applications. So it all starts by having a secured and compliant foundation on the cloud of your choice, and it can be one cloud or it can be multiple cloud if you are a large healthcare systems, right? IT systems. So moving, we talked about some of the challenges already. So moving on, it is very critical and important to understand that cloud is a shared responsibility model, right? And when I say shared responsibility model, let me highlight this uh, picture. Uh, When I say shared responsibility model, what I mean is that responsibility for security of the cloud is the responsibility of cloud provider. But the responsibility for security in the cloud is still your responsibility as a customer, as an organization. So it is very important to understand what shared responsibility model is. And we are going to spend a lot of time highlighting the importance of security, compliance, and governance, and understanding the entire shared responsibility model. So, when you talk about understanding the shared responsibility model, when it comes to cloud infrastructure, application, or data protection, it is important to understand your responsibility as an organization. So this model essentially defines the responsibility of both the cloud provider and the customer when it comes to security. So cloud providers are responsible for securing the underlying infrastructure, whether it is the compute, the storage, the database, the networking, their hardware and global infrastructure, global infrastructure that they have. They provide you with regions, availability zones, and edge location, but they are responsible for security only up to the hypervisor layer, right? So while you as a customer are responsible for securing your infrastructure on the cloud, your application on the cloud, and your data on the cloud. Just because now you are going to consume infrastructure as a service does not mean you don't have to implement any security controls at your end, right? You still have to implement robust identity and access controls. Access controls are critical to ensuring that only authorized users can access sensitive data on the cloud. You still have to implement a strong authentication mechanisms such as zero trust provisioning, access governance, multi-factor authentication, role-based access controls to prevent unauthorized access. You still have to think about data encryption. Both implementing encryption both in transit and at rest. to help protect data from any data theft or interception. And obviously, you have to implement the entire monitoring and other audit capabilities to identify potential security incidents, right? So the question is, how do we get there, right? How do we do it? How do we have a secured and compliant cloud foundation to leverage all the benefits of cloud with governance, compliance, and cost optimization? Because cloud is not cheap. You always have to keep an eye on the cost optimization or FinOps, which is a new area which is coming up in mind when you are affecting a cloud transformation within your organization. So, that is where I am essentially in this slide. We are going to talk about all the different layers of security, compliance, governance, and operations. From an enterprise perspective of how we can get there with security and compliance, right? So, as I told earlier, this is an architecture for secure cloud foundation, if you will, on public cloud. So establishing a secured cloud foundation on public cloud is critical for organizations to protect their infrastructure, applications, and data. And some key steps that can help establish a secure cloud foundation on public cloud is, to start with defining your governance policies, your governance policies that aligns with your organization's overall objectives, security requirements, compliance regulations. This includes policies for your access management, data protection, service management, and obviously your regulatory requirements, whether it is HIPAA, high trust, or any other GDPR for that matter. You have to implement a robust identity and access management, to ensure that you are able to, get to zero trust provisioning, implement all the IAM policies, implement all the multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and from a zero trust perspective, have a least privilege access, which helps ensure that only authorized users have access to cloud resources. And also, this architecture essentially helps you implement cloud service management, and cloud service management tools and processes. It helps you manage cloud resources, like, whether it is tagging for cost management, cost allocation, resource usage tracking, whether the resources are being used efficiently and effectively or not, implement cost governance and optimization measures such as, right sizing, selecting the right instances, such as reserved or spot instances to reduce cloud costs without sacrificing on the performance, and leveraging the entire automation and DevOps practice, which is again very, very key, right? So when you talk about cloud transformation, it is essentially about uh, taking an organization from a transformation from a SysOps model to a DevOps model. So it becomes imperative and critical for organization to implement the entire automation and DevOps practice as you continue to transform for the cloud. Which also means implementing continuous integration and continuous delivery pipelines. And obviously, when you talk about your cloud infrastructure, it is about continuous monitoring and optimization of cloud performance. You also have to, as a shared responsibility model, you also have to deploy tools related to threat detection and response solutions, to detect and respond to security incidents in real time. Some of the examples of which is the IDPS system, whether it is intrusion detection and prevention systems, the SIEM, security information and event management, also security orchestration, automation and response tools. So it's the entire shared. When you talk about the entire shared responsibility model, this architecture that we have implemented for enterprise customers essentially gives you everything that you need, from a security, compliance, and governance perspective. So once you have built your security layer on the left and compliance, governance, and operations layers on the right, which has all the tools and capabilities to provide you with the security controls, then you are taking your first step to having a cloud foundation. And obviously, as a part of this entire affecting the transformation, you also have to make sure that you are always up to date, whether it is your patching a strategy or whether it is to keeping yourself up to date with the latest security threats. You have to you have to implement the entire DevOps, and agile practices to make sure that you are current. And another thing that we have seen, and we are partnering with organizations, is to make sure that you always, at any given point of time, train your staff on security best practices, such as password hygiene, social engineering awareness, and incident responses, which helps ensure that your organization is taking a proactive approach to security. So by implementing these steps, organizations are able to establish a secure and compliant foundation on public cloud, enabling you to protect your data, applications, and infrastructure on the cloud, right? Uh, so I want to go one step further, and just from a visualization perspective, maybe for some of you it may be relevant, and for some of you who do not have a large IT presence, or may not be relevant, but I still would like to cover that topic, and uh, that is in addition to what I said, organizations who are already using an ITSM tool, how the platform that you now have, a secure and compliant cloud platform, can now be integrated with an ITSM tool of your choice that you are using for cloud self-service. It can be really, really valuable, and we are seeing this more and more organization adopting that integration, where it is proving to be really valuable from an efficiency and service delivery perspective. So by implementing this integration with ITSM for self-service, organizations can provide a streamlined and efficient service delivery and support experience for their users. And it is also proving out that this integration is helping organization reduce the workload on their existing IT staff, and also it's providing an additional layer of security, right? To be able to integrate your cloud platform with ITSM, in case if it is applicable in your environment, if for self-service, it can be critical, from an efficiency and security perspective. So, so one thing that I wanted to add when we talk about cloud transformation, it is one of the most important and critical component is the shift from SysOps model, which is system operations model, to a DevOps model. So development and operations model, and and continuously striving to get as close to no ops as possible through hyper automation. So the transformation from sysops to DevOps involves a significant shift in the way that IT operations are managed and supported. SysOps model, like which is the legacy IT model, focuses on the day-to-day maintenance and management of IT infrastructure, whereas DevOps model emphasizes on the integration of development and operation teams to improve collaboration, automation, and agility. Right. So DevOps is more than just a set of tools or processes. It is a cultural shift towards collaboration, experimentation, and continuous improvement. So, and when we talk about DevOps and your cloud infrastructure, it heavily relies on automation to streamline processes and reduce as much of manual intervention as possible. So it is an evolving practice, which also require, and in the cloud domain itself is still evolving. So it requires you to have a culture of continuous learning and improvements, with a constant feedback loop, feedback process. So for a successful cloud transformation and for organizations to truly get the ROI, it is very important to take an integrated and a strategic approach to application modernization, data modernization, and infrastructure modernization, which requires, as I told earlier, which requires having a digital foundation for innovation, to evolve your cloud landscape, and obviously to deliver exceptional services to your customers, or your partners, or your within your ecosystem. So, as more companies are rushing to the cloud, many of them in the marketplace are scrambling to manage the growing operational complexities of their either hybrid or multi-cloud environment, which is also resulting into expanded attack surfaces, if you will, and currently the widening cloud security and cybersecurity skills gap that we currently have in the marketplace is essentially compounding the problem, which is for organizations who have not taken a structured approach to cloud adoption, is leaving their digital infrastructure and applications increasingly vulnerable, right? So that is where we as an organization, our tools, processes, and approach are, or we as an organization, or any other cloud transformation companies in the marketplace are able to essentially advise organizations in having the tools, processes, and approach which is more geared towards a zero trust architecture and automation, right? So what we were talking about from sysops to DevOps transition, it is all about automation and hyper automation, and it is critical to protect which is critical to protect your cloud-based applications and your critical data. In your case, in the healthcare vertical, obviously it's all PHI and PII. It helps you protect your data in your complex business environment. As you expand, as your enterprise expands, so too your threat surface area. security challenges and cyber attacks and others. So it's very critical to keep in mind that security cannot be an afterthought. The idea is simple, to put security at the front of cloud modernization conversations, and the goal is to help organizations achieve end-to-end security for all workloads across any cloud environments, whether it is your internal cloud, whether it is your hybrid cloud, or whether it is your public cloud. So what that means is that regardless of the cloud platform of choice or the amount of data and application real estate that you may have, security essentially can be built into the workloads to provide a fundamental layer of protection by obviously following the entire concept of security by design, zero trust, identity first, right, and automation enabled approaches. So if we are able to follow these approaches, we can help protect workloads across different cloud environments by ensuring that only authenticated and authorized users can access resources and right people have right level of accesses. And this can provide a powerful defense against any kind of cyber threats and give you a robust infrastructure foundation for your business innovation and growth, right? So it is all about increasing visibility, reducing attack surfaces, and preserving compliance, right? So I will leave you guys with a word of caution, and which is that cloud is not about migration, but it is about transformation, and security cannot be an afterthought, right? With that, we can get into the Q&A if you have any.
So I don't have any questions in the Q&A as of right now, but if anyone wants to also use the raise your hand feature, I can unmute you if you'd like to ask Anand a question as well. And Mike, you can just unmute yourself if you do have a comment.
Great. AK, could you comment on some of the best areas or the easiest ways for organizations to start a cloud journey if they haven't already started a cloud journey in healthcare? Is it applications in the cloud? Is it backup disaster recovery in the cloud? What do you think the best way to start that is?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Good question, Mike. So obviously, different customers at our different level of maturity, right? So depending on their maturity level, obviously the starting point, as we covered in today's presentation, is to start with the secured cloud foundation, right? Which can then be used as in this slide, to start with backup and disaster recovery, to start with. Organizations are now moving their EHR systems into the cloud, right? Organizations are using the cloud environment to have more burst capacity, and then obviously you have to look at your application landscape and see which applications are cloud ready and what makes more sense to be on the cloud and what makes more sense to be in your infrastructure. So there is a fundamental difference. From a healthcare organization perspective, we have to do an exercise where we understand the differentiator between digitalization, and digital transformation. So depending on the maturity of an organization, we can essentially recommend the right approach to cloud transformation and migration, if you will.
So there's a couple questions coming in, Anand. The first question is from Camille. She asks, what type of important roles do you see developing as this area grows?
An important role from an IT
Yes.
perspective.
It doesn't clarify that. It just says what types of important roles do you see in developing?
Okay. So I am assuming the question is about the IT roles, right? What kind of important roles that organizations need to hire, right? So as I touched upon this subject, right? So the critical component is the shift from SysOps model to a DevOps model, and get as close to no ops as possible through hyper automation, and we talked about that. And obviously one of the critical role is that organizations now would need DevOps resources, cloud architecture resources, and skills more in automation and cloud security and compliance. I don't know whether that's the right question I'm answering or not, but that's what I understood from the question that you were asking me.
Thank you. The next question is, can you please talk a bit about this? How do you go about convincing the client that they need to invest in security integration with the cloud, where they are actually looking to get away from investing in IT infrastructure?
The answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. Cloud is a shared responsibility model. A responsibility for security of the cloud is the responsibility of the cloud providers, but responsibility for security in the cloud is still your responsibility. So if you are drinking the Kool-Aid of migration, that is where you are vulnerable to all the cybersecurity threats that currently exist in the marketplace. So you have to take the shared responsibility model very, very seriously. Otherwise, you are exposed to all the security threats that currently exist.
So our next question is from Pat. She's asking, she's interested in when people started trusting the cloud, and why, when and why do you think that? When did the trust begin?
See, we have, as I told earlier, that we have truly crossed that chasm of why cloud. In the marketplace, now what I see is it's all about how cloud, because other than all the advantages that I talked to you about, there is no doubt that cloud is a more secured environment than you can possibly have in your own data center, right? So security, compliance, and governance is driving cloud adoption. And obviously, other than all the other benefits that I talked to you about, whether it is on-demand access, whether it is improved, data management, some of the systems interoperability and data interoperability challenges, collaboration challenges, enhanced customer engagement or patient engagement. We talked about, the ability to essentially now have ability to have insights in your critical data, ability to have powerful data analytics, ability to essentially have end-to-end data integration across any data format, right? And others, right? So that journey has already begun, where we have truly crossed that chasm of why cloud, right? Yeah, Mike, you were saying something. Sorry.
I was just going to do the next question. That's all.
Oh,
after you finish.
sorry.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah. Some of the things that I just talked to you about, it is already driving cloud adoption. It is now the question is that, as I told in the right in the very beginning, it's like the industrial revolution of the past. So now the question is your organization transforming or falling behind? So, and especially post-pandemic, the entire investment in digital transformation, people are, people are making digital investment, people are exploring digital strategies, and most of the organizations today are implementing cloud-first strategy, right? I hope that answers your question.
Mike, do you have a question? Because otherwise I have two more questions also in the Q&A.
Yeah, I'll ask real quick. AK, so with pharma and life science organizations utilizing the cloud much earlier than many healthcare organizations do, what kind of ability to interact or cooperate with biopharma and life sciences, drug companies, and healthcare? What kind of cooperations is there available in the cloud to enable that data sharing or sale of data between hospitals and those life science companies?
Yeah, so collaboration, is one of the highlights of cloud transformation, right? And what we are seeing is, both collaboration, whether it is internally or externally happening. It is eliminating, challenges like collaborating with for other pharma companies, other healthcare providers, and it is enabling organizations to provide high quality service, or expediting some of the clinical research or drug discovery life cycle, if you will, right? And given the enhanced security that is a possibility on the cloud, is also we are seeing from our experience is enabling not only pharma life sciences company, but organizations right across, maybe different healthcare organizations looking to essentially collaborate with respect to patient data, PHI, PII, for better patient care. And same we are seeing in the pharma life sciences, where different pharma companies now they want to collaborate among each other without compromising, without compromising with their intellectual property, IP, right? Somebody has the data, somebody has the algorithm. They are all both able to come into a neutral zone environment and essentially gain insights on the data that anybody has, or say, for example, use somebody else's algorithm on your data without compromising on any individual's intellectual property.
So the next question, Anand, is what is the next natural evolution after cloud for the healthcare industry? Would it be metaverse?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are already looking at Web 3.0, right? If you look at and that's one of the things which cloud is driving. It is about the entire Web 3.0 landscape. And when you look at the Web 3.0 landscape, it is further highlighting for what's the right word, further highlighting the benefits of the transformation. Whether you are talking about improved security and privacy, whether you are talking about having a streamlined processes, whether you are talking about enhanced interoperability, whether you are talking about having an improved supply chain management, or talking about enhanced trust and transparency, reducing some of the administrative costs, all these benefits, in addition to that, specifically in the healthcare life sciences vertical, we are also seeing applicability of the same in the electronic health records, whether it is clinical trial data management, whether it is the entire end-to-end supply chain management, the entire medical billing and claims processing, clinical research, and also with more and more IoT devices, it's also about medical device security. So we are seeing a lot of evolutions happening, and Web 3.0 is knocking right around the corner.
So the next question Smart is asking, in the current scenario, what are some of the pressing healthcare payer / provider issues / complexities where cloud transformation can come as a solution?
Can you repeat one more time? Sorry, you broke up on me a little.
No worries, no worries. And you can also, just so you know, if you want to visually see it, the Q&A box you can click on yourself, but I'll read it again. In the current scenario, what are some of the pressing healthcare payer provider issues, complexities where cloud transformation can come as a solution? Question.
Okay. Yeah, so right across, right now, organizations are looking to take an integrated approach to their infrastructure modernization, application modernization, and data modernization. And which is critical for innovation of an organization, and to be able to effectively compete in the marketplace, right? So you don't want to be left behind, and not have not have gotten onto the journey of modernization, both from an application infrastructure or data perspective, and harness the benefits out of it. So the applicability is right across. When you talk about infrastructure, it is an infrastructure modernization. That's an opportunity for you. When you talk about application modernization, that's an opportunity for you. And the entire data modernization, whether it is for data harmonization, whether it is gaining real-time insights on data, or whether having your robust data analytics, AI engineering, machine learning capabilities for better business insights. These are all opportunities right across, right? So the advantages of the cloud, you can keep on going, the whole day, and still you will not be able to cover it all.
So the last question I have in the Q&A is, from Pam, says, how does a company go about taking shared responsibility for the security required when it's not their own internal environment? How many cloud providers offer solutions for high availability and disaster recovery? Most healthcare clinical systems require 24/7 uninterrupted uptime.
Yeah. That's a good question. So, first of all, so let's talk about the security component first. How does a company go about taking shared responsibility for the security required when it is not their own internal environment, right? So yeah. So if you look at this picture that I have on the screen, application and business layer is what your cloud provider is providing, right? And they have all the necessary certification that you can think of, whether it is SOC or whether it is uh, HIPAA certified services that they are offering in this middle layer. But as we talked about the shared responsibility model, uh, you know, uh, 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 security uh, in the cloud is still your responsibility. So you still have to implement the entire, the boxes that you see right here on the top, all the boxes, whether it is data security, whether it is identity access management, and identity access management by itself, you know, like, has a lot of components, whether it is zero trust provisioning, whether it is access governance, or whether it is multi-factor authentication, or whether it is role-based access. You still have to implement application security, like you currently do it in your data center environment, right? So the same, obviously not the same, but you do not have to bring in the same tools and processes into the cloud, but there are cloud native solutions already available for you to implement all these controls and have a robust cloud foundation architecture, like the way we are showing it in this slide, for you to now for you to now have a secured cloud foundation, right? So once you have the secured cloud foundation, now you will be able to use this platform for any use cases that you may have, whether you want to use it for more burst power, whether you want to use it for DR, disaster recovery, whether you want to use it for a backup, or whether you want to use it for storage or any other use cases that you may have. But the starting point is for you to have a secured cloud foundation, which gives you all the peace of mind from a security and regulatory compliance perspective.
Does that answer the second part of the question as well, Anand? I just want to make sure before I dismiss it.
Yes, it does. Actually, I answered the
Okay.
second part first, and then the.
Okay, I just didn't want to dismiss it. No problem. So the next question is it mandatory for cloud native organizations in the healthcare to embrace CDIM approach?
Yeah, that's a great question. CDIM approach, it stands for continuous development for innovation and maturation, right? And when you talk about, as we talked earlier, the entire DevOps approach and automation-centric framework approach, and getting as close to no ops as possible through hyper automation, it requires that you are up to date with all the latest and greatest innovations at all time, right? Not only latest and greatest innovation from a features and functionalities perspective, but latest and greatest innovation from a security threat perspective as well, right? So that is where the entire CDIM approach and the framework is critical for you to keep up with the rapid changes which is happening and the innovation which is happening in this vertical.
So I don't have any more questions in the Q&A at this time. So I want to thank you, Anand, for joining us today for the Premier sponsored webinar presented by Healthcare Triangle. If you do think of another question that you have for Anand as you're exiting today's session, we do have a spot in the Zoom survey to give us your feedback and to put those questions in there, and we'll get those to him so that we can get answers for you. And just a reminder, we have numerous educational offerings coming up in March. We have a clinical informatics series that begins this Friday for the next 3 Fridays. And we also have our Women in IT event, which is an in-person event occurring the end of March, on March 22nd. So thank you again, Anand, for joining us today. And please give us your feedback in the survey as everyone exits. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.